Hey, welcome to Vice Grip Garage. I'm your unreliable host, Derek. The old finger remover 4000. Extra CFMs.
In a quiet part of the United States, there was a man named Derek Miller, a small-town mechanic who became famous on the internet for doing something simple but powerful. He brought old, forgotten cars back to life. His videos were not fancy, and he never acted like a celebrity. Instead, he spoke in a normal, friendly way, often joking while working with rusty engines in old barns and driveways. People loved him because he felt real. He was not trying to impress anyone. He just loved machines and enjoyed saving things that others had given up on. Over time, his channel, Garage Revival, grew from a small hobby into a massive online success. Millions of viewers watched him every week. Companies offered him sponsorships, TV shows contacted him, and fans treated him like a hero of the car world. To many people, Derek represented honesty, hard work, and second chances. But behind this simple success story, changes were quietly happening. As his projects grew bigger, the deals became more complex, the vehicles became more expensive, and new business partners entered his life. Derek trusted people easily, and that trust would soon become the center of a problem he never expected. What began as a dream built on engines and rust would slowly turn into a story filled with confusion, accusations, and a mystery that would shake the entire internet community. As Derek's popularity increased, so did the pressure around him. What was once a small garage channel turned into a full business with sponsors, investors, and deadlines. He no longer worked alone in peace. Now there were contracts, shipping schedules, and expensive restoration projects that required large teams. Fans wanted more videos, bigger builds, and faster results. The simple joy of fixing old cars slowly turned into a business that never stopped demanding attention. Derek tried to keep up, but he was still the same mechanic at heart. He preferred working with tools rather than paperwork, and this is where problems began. He often let partners handle legal documents, titles, and purchases because he trusted them completely. One of these projects involved a large collection of classic cars found in a rural storage site. The deal looked perfect: dozens of rare vehicles, low prices, and huge content potential. Derek and his team believed it was a dream opportunity that would take the channel to a new level. However, unknown to him, the paperwork behind some of these cars had hidden problems. Certain documents were later questioned by officials, and inconsistencies began to appear. At first, Derek ignored the warnings, thinking it was just a small misunderstanding. But this small decision would become the starting point of something much bigger, something that would soon move beyond cars and into the world of legal investigation and public controversy. The first real problem appeared when one of the purchased cars was checked during a routine registration process. Authorities discovered that the vehicle had a complicated history. It was not clear who legally owned it, and some documents looked unusual. At first, Derek believed it was a simple paperwork mistake. He provided everything he had, including receipts, emails, and signed agreements from his business partners. However, investigators started to dig deeper. They found that several cars from the same collection had similar issues. Some identification numbers did not match records, and a few documents looked altered. This raised serious concerns. Derek was shocked because he had personally trusted the people involved in the deal. He never believed anything illegal was happening. As the investigation expanded, officials began to examine his entire business history, including older projects and past purchases. Every car he had ever shown on video was reviewed carefully. What started as a small question about one vehicle slowly turned into a full investigation into his entire operation. Meanwhile, rumors started spreading online. Fans who once praised him began to question his honesty. Social media platforms filled with debates, theories, and accusations. Derek, who had once been admired by millions, suddenly found himself at the center of a growing storm he could no longer control. As news of the investigation spread, the internet reacted quickly and harshly. People online began forming strong opinions even before any official conclusion was reached. Some believed Derek was innocent and had been tricked by dishonest partners. Others were convinced that he had knowingly participated in illegal activity. The comment sections of his videos turned from friendly discussions into arguments and accusations. Major sponsors began to withdraw their support to avoid negative attention. Planned collaborations were cancelled, and his income dropped rapidly. What hurt Derek the most was not just the financial loss, but the emotional damage. Fans who had once supported him for years now doubted everything he had ever done. His reputation, built slowly over many years, began to collapse in a matter of weeks. At the same time, investigators continued collecting evidence, trying to understand how deep the issue went. The situation became more complicated as more documents were reviewed. Some pointed toward mistakes by business partners, while others raised questions about oversight and responsibility. Derek insisted he had done nothing wrong and that he had been misled. But in the court of public opinion, the story was already becoming something bigger than facts. It had turned into a dramatic tale of betrayal, and Derek found himself at the center of a story he never intended to be part of. As the investigation grew stronger, Derek was officially called in for questioning. Authorities wanted clear answers about how the car deals were arranged and who was responsible for verifying the documents. Derek explained everything he knew. He described his partners, the agreements, and how he trusted others to handle legal checks. However, investigators were focused on inconsistencies in the paperwork. They believed there was a larger network involved in selling vehicles with unclear or falsified histories. Derek's name appeared on many of the official documents, which made him a key figure in the case. Even though he claimed he was unaware of any wrongdoing, the situation continued to escalate. Lawyers advised him to stay silent publicly, but silence only increased suspicion online. Meanwhile, deeper investigations uncovered connections between different states and multiple vehicle sales that looked suspicious. The case slowly shifted from being a small business dispute into a large-scale fraud investigation. Derek felt trapped. On one side, he was trying to prove his innocence. On the other side, public opinion was turning against him faster than he could respond. The pressure became overwhelming as every part of his career and personal life was examined under a microscope. What once felt like a dream career had now become a legal nightmare he could not escape easily. After the verdict, Derek's life changed completely. His business collapsed, his channel was taken down, and his reputation was destroyed. Many fans still believed he was innocent, while others accepted the court's decision. Over time, new information began to appear suggesting that some of the fraud may have involved larger groups of people beyond Derek's control. Certain individuals connected to the car deals disappeared or avoided investigation, which raised even more questions. Some documents were later said to be part of a wider network that authorities had struggled to track for years. This created a growing debate online about whether Derek was truly responsible or simply caught in a system much larger than himself. Despite all theories, no final answer satisfied everyone. Derek remained a symbol of how quickly success can turn into disaster when trust is misplaced. His story became widely discussed in online communities as an example of how internet fame, business risks, and legal systems can collide in unexpected ways. The story of Derek Miller is not just about cars or business deals. It is about trust, responsibility, and how quickly life can change when things go wrong. He started as a simple mechanic who loved bringing old machines back to life, and he became a global internet personality admired by millions. But his journey shows that success also brings risk, especially when decisions involve money, contracts, and other people's honesty. Whether he was fully responsible or not, the consequences of the situation affected his entire life. It also affected the people around him, including his fans, partners, and family. In the end, the story leaves many questions unanswered. It reminds us that in the modern world, where everything is public and fast-moving, a single misunderstanding can grow into something much larger than expected. And sometimes, once a story reaches that level, it becomes impossible to fully control the outcome, no matter who is right or wrong.